Honorable Chief Justice, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Dr. Usha Ramanathan, my esteemed brothers and sister judges, Justice Akil Qureshi, former Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court, Mr. Ashok Kumar Parija, Learned Advocate General, Orissa, Mr. P.K. Pari, Learned Deputy Solicitor General of India, the executive members of the Orissa High Court Bar Association, senior advocates, all members of the bar, members of the registry, ladies and gentlemen. We have assembled here today to bid farewell to Honorable Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar on the occasion of his demitting office as the 32nd Chief Justice of Orissa High Court. Justice Muralidhar was born on 8th August 1961, and he has completed his studies initially in Chennai, and thereafter he had been to Nagpur University for completing his master's in constitutional and administrative law. He was awarded the Doctor of Philosophy for his thesis on legal aid and criminal justice system of India by the Delhi University in the year 2003. He had cleared his advocate on records examination in the year 1990 within few years of joining the bar. In July 1987, he shifted his practice to Delhi and worked with Mr. G. Ramasamy, senior advocate, who was then the Additional Solicitor General of India. As a scholar, Justice Muralidhar had chosen the field of study to meet the jurisprudential need towards empowerment of the marginalized people of our nation. His first book was published on law, poverty, legal aid, access to criminal justice. One of his numerous papers is Bhopal Gas Disaster, Victims 20 Years of Struggle for Justice. Justice Muralidhar has more than 800 reported cases encompassing varied and multiple legal issues. He has experimented with various judicial tests and expanded and improved those for enhancing their precision and effectiveness. One of such tools is purposeful availment test in passing of action. On gender reconstruction in Rajendra Gowar versus Air India Limited, Justice Muralidhar's opinion broke the quote-unquote glass ceiling by eliminating, quote, the men-only tag attached to the in-flight supervisors. In Ajoy Makin and others versus Union of India, Justice Muralidhar has declared that the forced and unannounced eviction to be contrary to the law, and also held that the right to housing is a bundle of rights, not limited to bare shelter over one's head. It includes the other rights to livelihood, right to health, right to education, right to food, to clean drinking water, sewerage, and transport facilities. He has observed that the right to adequate housing recognizes constitutional guarantees of recognition, protection, and enforcement. I can go on and on discussing his efforts to liberate the law from a very conventional form, restricting those to their literal expressions. He's one of the finest judges this country has produced. He has given the constitutional empathy at the center of the jurisprudential ideology. His efforts to preservation of rule of law has become a folklore. The generations will remember how a judge with independent mind acts to uphold the rights of the citizen without fear or favor. His contributions towards developing the gender right in our country is immense. He was one of the judges in Nas Foundation case, which decriminalized homosexuality. In that judgment, Justice A.P. Shah and he held that it cannot be forgotten if the discrimination is antithesis of equality, and it is the recognition of equality which will foster the dignity of every individual. In another case, Dr. Punita K. Sodhi versus Union of India, He has held that we are to come out of stereotyped ideas of sexual harassment if only we examine whether a reasonable person would engage in allegedly harassment conduct, we would run the risk of reinforcing the prevailing level of discrimination. Justice Muralidhar has added in his inimitable expression that we therefore prefer to analyze harassment from the victim's perspective. A complete understanding of the victim's view requires in analyzing different perspectives of men and women. Conduct that many men considered unobjectionable may offend many women. I would like to place another decision of Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar on gender in Dr. Shanghamitra Acharya and another versus NCT of Delhi, where a girl moved out of the parents' house, failing to get along with the parents and brothers. But she was forcibly taken to the mental hospital with help of local police, as they believed she was under influence of the petitioner of that case. While determining the legal issues, bench held, this mistaken notion forms the basis upon which they have taken it upon themselves to make G's choices for her, notwithstanding that G, having attained the age of majority, can exercise her free will uninfluenced by what her parents might feel or think. The bench has further held that G's parents had violated her fundamental rights of life, liberty, privacy, and dignity. In Lakshmi Mandal versus Dinodayal Harinagar Hospital, Justice Muralidhar emphasized that Indian government is obligated to ensure maternal health services under the judicially recognized constitutional rights to health and reproductive rights, as the international law recognizes that women have their right to control their bodies and decide when they wish to conceive. During his time in this High Court, he has transformed so many areas which tremendously impacted on the functioning of the High Court in a significant proportion. His efforts to implement the ICT as the strategy for case management and also for faster administrative decision has received huge applaud from the other jurisdiction. Before I come to the end of my speech, I'd like to remind all of us, as part of a speech of Justice Muralidhar, because I like that statement so much, I like to share in this momentous occasion. Justice Muralidhar spoke, "It is not enough for the lawyers and the judges to speak about constitutional values. It is essential to imbibe them. The constitutional values of equality, non-discrimination, dignity, the provision of untouchability, inclusivity, plurality have to be practiced continuously at a both personal and professional level. True, it is that the different judges analyze the jurisprudential materials differently. Chief Justice Arahan Barak wrote, each judge is a distant and distinct world unto himself. Ideological pluralism and not ideological uniformity is the hallmark of judges in a legal system. Justice Muralidhar has all through respected this ideological pluralism, even while he was critical of certain ideological affinities which are far away from the constitutional orientations. As he departs one chapter of his life, we are certain, and we are ourselves address, that he has passed a substantial time of his life in this institution, and he only deserves at this point adulation, adoration, and our gratitude. So, as a collective, and as I speak first, I wish that he has a good health, he become more dynamic in his new area of activities, and we all believe he will continue to his commitment to cause of justice and preservation of rule of law. While adorning a new role, we believe that the High Court will not be forgotten by him. So this is yesterday, also last evening also I told It is a celebration of a person. Within such a short time, what a person could have achieved more, what Justice Muralidhar has achieved for this High Court. So let us be part of this celebration. Though farewell word itself saddens us, but we have to overcome this, and we have to commit the path he has chosen for us to walk with strides and boldness and courage. He is, after the all analysis, is a judge, empathetic, fair, unswerving, and honest to the court. Just to give some, the opposition as the poetic lines, I would conclude reading 4 lines from Anne Bronte. Farewell to thee, but not farewell. To all my fondest thoughts of thee, within my heart the steel shall reside, and they shall cheer and comfort me. Thank you all.
My Lord Honorable the Chief Justice, his best half, Dr. Usha Ranganathan, my Lord Justice S. Talpatra, my Lord's other companion judges, we are fortunate to have Chief Justice Qureshi and his gracious wife with us this afternoon, members of the registry, the Deputy Solicitor General of India, Sri Prasanna Padi, respected senior members of the bar who have gathered in large numbers, my junior colleagues, friends and well-wishers of Honorable Chief Justice who have travelled for us to be with us this evening from Delhi. My Lord, today we have gathered here to bid farewell to our favorite Chief Justice, Dr. S. Muralidhar, who is retiring after leading the bench and the bar of this High Court for more than 2 years. His absence will be sorely felt by both the bar and his brother and sister judges. Justice Muralidhar was sworn in as Chief Justice of the Orissa High Court on 4th of January 2021, during which the peak of the deadly COVID-19 pandemic. However, the prevailing adversities did not deter him from seamlessly taking to the judicial and administrative responsibilities that awaited him here. In his illustrious career, Justice Muralidhar has ardently strived to further social justice. As an advocate, he had an exemplary practice in constitutional law, election law, criminal law, human rights law, legal aid and public interest litigation. Notably, Justice Muralidhar had represented the victims of Bhopal gas tragedy. As a judge in the bench of the High Court of Delhi, Justice Muralidhar has pronounced judgments which have significantly not only helped in shaping the jurisprudence of this country, but also evolving fundamental rights of citizens. In the case of Banyan Tree Holding Private Limited and A. Murali Krishna Reddy, Justice Muralidhar applied the purposeful availment test to determine the question of territorial jurisdiction in relation to online use of trademarks. The Banyan Tree judgment continues to be the landmark judgment in the field of cyber law. In the case of Ajay Makhan versus Union of India, which was a PIL directed against forced eviction of 5,000 slum dwellers, the bench presided by Justice Muralidhar ruled against such eviction, holding that right to shelter comprises of a bundle of rights, which is not limited to a bare roof over one's head. In the case of Jaspal Singh Gosain versus CBI, the bench presided by Justice Muralidhar upheld the conviction of 7 policemen of UP Police for killing a young man in a fake encounter. It was held that the failed encounter is a form of extrajudicial killing, which has no place in a civil system governed by the rule of law. Justice Muralidhar's humane approach and commitment to social justice is evident in a number of notable public interest litigation which have been before his lordships in the bench. I shall mention a few of such matters which demonstrates judicial activism at its finest. In Bipin Bihari Pradhan versus State of Orissa, a committee of 3 advocates had been appointed to ascertain the living conditions and health facilities available in the state for patients afflicted with leprosy. In Krishna Prasad Sahu versus State of Orissa, this Honorable Court has been monitoring the condition of prisons in the state while contemplating plausible prison reforms through consultations with various stakeholders. The bench presided by Chief Justice Muralidhar has also taken suo motu cognizance of death of sanitation workers and has directed state to take measures to prevent manual scavenging. My lord, in all these cases, the biggest beneficiary has been the state and the people of the state. Justice Muralidhar always led by example and has inspired the young and the experienced alike. I had the great privilege to argue several important matters before his lordships. These matters involved wide-ranging issues of questions of law crucial to the state, such as the virus of the University Act, the abolishment of the Odisha Administrative Tribunal, allocation of largesse through lottery in several mining matters. Justice Muralidhar always brought out the best in me as a counsel. Justice Muralidhar's profound knowledge, vision, and ingenuity has certainly transformed the judiciary in Odisha. Under his eventful tenure, our High Court saw appointment of a record number of judges, which went a long way in redressing the problem of judicial vacancies, which had plagued our High Court for many years. While all of us adapted to digitization, primarily through e-proceedings, Justice Muralidhar introduced initiatives that further digitalized the judiciary, moving towards a regime of paperless court. Among several instances are the establishment of the Record Room Digitization Center and installation of e-reading devices in the courtroom. This is something very close to my Chief Justice's heart. Under the able guidance of Justice Muralidhar, this Honorable Court has led the way in adopting technological tools in fulfilling of its mandate to make justice more adaptable, more accessible. In 2021, as an initiative to increase transparency in judicial process, the proceedings of the Chief Justice Court began to be live streamed. In 2023, as a first in the country, 10 virtual high courts were inaugurated in 10 districts of the Orissa, equipped with video conferencing and e-filing facilities. Chief Justice Muralidhar, while taking our High Court into the age of digitization, has also ensured that our connection with the rich history is strengthened, secured, and made accessible to all. To this end, Chief Justice Muralidhar has completely revamped the Orissa High Court Museum, which now adorns a place of pride in the hearts of our legal fraternity. I fondly recall a conversation with Chief Justice of India, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, and Justice Muralidhar during Justice Chandrachud's visit to the state, when I had remarked that Justice Muralidhar had been doing wonders with the initiatives to digitize the judiciary. Justice Muralidhar had kindly remarked that state has been very supportive. Later that day, Justice Chandrachud brought up this in his speech. He said that even with the support of the government, such initiatives needed to be driven by someone, and Justice Muralidhar had been fulfilling that role. Chief Justice Muralidhar, in his time and role as the Chief Justice of our High Court, has been an epitome of vision and dynamism, and has showcased the transformative changes a Chief Justice can bring to the state judicial machinery and infrastructure. Our High Court has been fortunate to have Justice Muralidhar, as it said, of the family for close to 2 years. Before parting, I must make reference to Justice Muralidhar's speech on the occasion of his farewell from the Delhi High Court. To the young lawyers, he gave an important advice. He asked them to be on the side of truth and to march ahead, undaunted and undeterred. He popularly remarked, when justice has to triumph, it will triumph. I am reminiscent of the lines by Sir Walter Scott, which were often referred to describe the integrity and purpose and immense courage of the great H.M. Sirvai, and what I believe would also capture the ideals of Justice Muralidhar has lived by. Without courage, there can be no truth, and without truth, there can be no other virtue. Justice Muralidhar has lived his life abiding by the advice he gave. His Lordship's distinguished career in law, spanning over 39 years, is marked with unwavering courage and integrity. Justice Muralidhar's cherished virtues, his sheer hard work, and his profound wisdom have carved a special place for him in the Indian judiciary. Justice Muralidhar is leaving behind a rich legacy. With gratitude in our hearts, we acknowledge that his departure creates a void that cannot easily be filled. However, we are confident that his successor, Justice Talpatra, and our esteemed judges will carry on the legacy with the same passion and dedication. I wish Justice Muralidhar all the happiness, the best of health for the future, and I know for a fact that his indefectible spirit is yet to do more wonders. Thank you, my lords.
My Lord Justice Talpatra, Honorable Judges of this Honorable High Court, Shri Ashok Kumar Parija, Lord Advocate General, Honorable Justice Qureshi, Retired Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court, and Registry of the Honorable High Court, Director of Odisha Judicial Academy, President, Secretary, and other office bearers of the High Court Bar Association, and senior advocates, brother and sister of my fraternity, and other luminaries, the dignitaries present in the congregation. I am grateful for the opportunity of address full court reference in honor of Honorable Justice S. Muralidhar, Justice on Superannuation. I am deeply appreciative of this unwavering commitment to justice and administrative improvements he has implemented, which have not only benefited to the esteemed institution, but also provided a new dimension that has greatly benefited us all. I would like to express my appreciation for the recent allocation of the space for the office of DSJ, which is previously lacking since the establishment of this High Court. This has been a great benefit to our office as we work towards digitization all records. Additionally, the extension of the LMS system by the Lord Advocate General has further aided our efforts. This will ensure that in the future, assessing file necessary documents for the conducting cases will not be a problematic. I am grateful to our Honorable Chief Justice for this tireless work since his appointment. He has worked diligently to bring us together and strengthen our institution. His contribution to institutional development will always be remembered as pioneering and invaluable. I pray my Lord Jagannath may bless you all. And I pray Lord Jagannath is bless him ever and ever.
Justice Subhashish Talapatra, the Chief Justice Designate, and all my dear colleagues. I first want to begin by saying that I consider myself most fortunate to have been sent to this wonderful state of Odisha as its Chief Justice. Those who do not know enough about Odisha, and we've been persuading them to visit us, our friends elsewhere, are stunned, astounded at the richness of Odisha, of the humaneness of the people of Odisha, of the culture, of the traditions, of the spirit of the people of Odisha. For me and my family, it's been an eye-opener in many a facet of life, and we've come to dearly love the people of Odisha, Odia language, Odia culture, Odia traditions, Odisha's art. It's truly infectious, and I wish to first of all thank the people of Odisha for the warmth, love, and affection they have showered on me and my family, and have made this stint of mine in the Odisha High Court the most memorable one. We will carry with us very, very fond memories of Odisha and the love and affection we've received from every quarter. I wish to begin with thanking, because usually, I don't know if you've seen films, by the time the credits start, people are leaving the cinema hall. So first, I want the credits to be played out first. And I begin with my own residence, where people have been working tirelessly to keep us all fit, healthy, happy. We have a large retinue of staff. My senior driver is Santosh Sahu. The other driver is Rajesh Sahu. Both have driven us tirelessly for days on end to every nook and corner of Orissa. A big thank you to Santosh, Rajesh, to ensure that we have wonderful meals, not only for ourselves, but for our guests, our relatives. We have a team of Amulya Behra, Sarat Chandra Behra, Duryodhan Behra, and Vijay Kumar Gochayat, who've turned out wonderful Odia meals. People told me that Odias are very good cooks of non-vegetarian food. People who come and taste the shrimps, the crabs, the seafood, say they've never tasted something so wonderful elsewhere. Unfortunately for us, for Usha and me and my mother and other families, friends and relatives, many of us are vegetarians. But I can assure you and everyone listening in, including my former colleagues, I can see Justice Gauba there from Delhi High Court, who's present online. My dear colleague, Justice Ishwar, who's present here, that they serve wonderful vegetarian food. It's a discovery of excellent cuisine, vegetarian cuisine that Orias can produce. We'll carry very fond memories of that. We have to assist us in our residence, and I thank each one of them, Bhagwan Behra, Sanjeev Prasad Das, Lalit Kumar Mohanty, Bullu, I hope Bullu is watching these proceedings, Shankarshan Behra, Shibo, Sudhir Kumar Roy, Tara, who's been with us for many, many years, Shekhar, Vishwanath Malik, Basudev Malik, Khirendra Nayak, Sahadev Nayak, Neetu, Pati, Pramod, and Narendra. They've all worked tirelessly in our residence, keeping us all very happy. Then we have 3 gates for the residence of the Chief Justice. There are guards round the clock. Although I don't have a personal security officer, I don't use a pilot. I've never had a personal security officer anytime in the 17 years of my judicial life. But the residence of the Chief Justice is definitely public property that has to be guarded, and admirably done by Prabodh Narayan Giri, the Havildar, Vikas Chandra Das, the SSB guards, Manoj Kumar Sahu, Soumya Ranjan Swine, Pradyumna Kumar Parida, Amarjit Soreng, Manoj Barwa, Rasan Sibil, Bidun Chandra Nayak, and Home Guards Seshadev Nayak, Tajuddin Khan, Dilip Kumar Patra, Sashikant Mishra. They've again literally worked day and night to keep us safe. In the High Court here, we have very tasteful snacks being turned out, tea being made, coffee being made round the clock. With me being around, and my colleagues will vouch for this, no shortage of committee meetings, full court meetings, and everything starts at 9:30 in the morning. So some of my colleagues are really going to heave a sigh of relief that at least they can spend longer mornings at home rather than having to rush to court for some function or the other. Well, in the pantry, we have Jayant, Ashutosh, Asit, Jiten, Shukanta, and Aman doing wonderful work. Thank you, each of you, for keeping us all so happy. In all our functions, we have one photographer who has captured all our emotions, whether we're upset or irritated or joyful or tense. And he is Mr. Devendra Sahu. He's captured all our emotions in various frames, some of which you can see on the website if you go to the events column. Thank you, Devendra Sahu, for capturing all those moments. We have security guards here in the High Court. I want to thank each one of them for keeping this safe for the lawyers, for the litigants. I then come to the people whom I'm accused of slave driving my registry. Before thanking them, I want to thank each of their families. Many of their families haven't seen them for nights on end. They've been offered to send all their bedrolls here to the High Court so that they can at least sleep here in the High Court instead of coming back home. But these officers, and this is the asset, real asset of the High Court is its officers. These are judicial officers who've come on deputation and who are doing tireless work. They're led very ably by Pratap Kumar Patra, the Registrar General, Akhil Kumar Paschim Kabar, the Registrar Vigilance, Registrar Administration, Prabhakar Gantia, Registrar Inspection, Member Secretary, SCMS in charge. Soumyak Patra, Coordinator Arbitration. Suman Kumar Mishra, Registrar Judicial. I'm not exaggerating. I've literally given each of them, I think I owe a huge apology apart from a thank you. I've given them, each of them, sleepless nights. I hope after today, Justice Talapatra will be kinder with you and allow you some sleep. Abhilash Senapati, Registrar Records. Santosh Kumar Dashrai, OSD Vigilance. Anand Kumar Dash. Everyone knows Anand Kumar Dash. He is literally my right hand. And I would not be here talking to you, I suppose, in such a relaxed way, but for the services rendered by Anand Kumar Dash. The additional registrar, he's my additional registrar, principal secretary. Debashish Mahanti, the deputy registrar, administration and protocol. Debashish again literally spends sleepless nights making sure we all reach our destinations, come back in good shape, are transported to our houses, carried from our houses. All the protocol arrangements he takes care of. Chayakant Dash, who's literally the main, moving force behind all the events and ceremonies that we organize. Amaresh Nayak, Deputy Registrar Judicial, all of you as lawyers know Amaresh Nayak. Satyaprakash Roy Chaudhary, the Central Project Coordinator. He coordinates with all the district courts, with, of course, the High Court. He's organized all your hybrid hearings. He's organized all your listings online. And all the events, including this morning's event, I think all of you should know, today we met as a full court of the High Court. Each one of us sat here physically. Each one of the judicial officers of the entire state of Orissa was present online. And we had a complete meeting of the judiciary of Orissa, thanks to people like Satyaprakash Roy Chaudhary and his excellent team, which you will see in the IT cell, which is a modern IT cell in the High Court premises, who are able to organize all of this in a very short span of time. Ashish Patnaik, Additional Coordinator, Arbitration Center. Ashish Kumar Sahu, lawyers who have walked through the portals of the High Court. You've gone through the branches of the High Court. You will find modern furniture. You will find it all is in a corporate style of office with no steel racks, no files on the floor, no congestion. Ashish Kumar Sahu, Deputy Registrar Records. Jitendra Das, Assistant Registrar Administration. Thank you, each one of you, for the wonderful contributions that you have made to the development of the High Court of Orissa, to making the life of both the lawyer and litigant easier and to work in a very congenial atmosphere. I have an army of secretarial staff. The advantage as a Chief Justice, and each of my colleagues is envious of me for that, and for good reason. The advantage as Chief Justice, you get the best stenographers, the best secretarial staff. So that advantage I have had for the last 2.5 years. Justice Ishwar is smiling. We've exchanged so many notes on the poor stenographic assistance we used to get as colleagues in the Delhi High Court, depending on how we are placed in the hierarchy of judges. It's very natural. It happens, even I'm told, in the Supreme Court of India. But I've had some of the best secretarial staff. Sanjay Jaina, Secretary. Mrityunjay Panda, Secretary. Subhash Kumar Guvin, Personal Assistant. Sumat Mehra, Junior Stenographer. They've literally typed all the judgments and orders that both Justice Talapatra and the Advocate General were referring to. There are something like 33,000 cases disposed of just by this bench in the Orissa High Court. Shashi Bhushan Swain, Court Master. Dhanurjaya Pangi, Assistant Section Officer. Anjani Kumar, Library Attendant. Raj Kishore Mohanty, Zamadar. Sunakar Malik, Zamadar. Ranjan Kumar Malik, Pion. These, I wanted to say this. We judges, you see us only sitting on the bench and pronouncing orders. There is a back office for every judge. Today, when some of the lawyer friends were present here, who have come in from Delhi, from Bombay, from other places, they went around the High Court, they realized the non-judicial branches, the judicial branches, they work non-stop. The listing branches work till late in the night. They are the ones who reach the briefs to the judges. They are the ones who make sure the cases that you want mentioned and listed are all listed in the court and dealt with by the court. There's a whole army here working tirelessly. And that is what is the backbone of the High Court. Today, I was very moved when the High Court Employees Association held a thank you function and turned out in such large numbers, appreciating the work done by the High Court of Orissa. So I'm sure and I'm confident, even with the large gathering of lawyers here, that we perhaps have not done too badly as a High Court. You're wondering why I'm not thanking my colleagues. You know, in 17 years as a judge, I have several colleagues. And they'll say, no, because you're in Orissa, you're saying this. But I must say and tell all of you, these colleagues of mine in the Orissa High Court have become very dear to me, as dear as the dearest colleagues of mine in the Delhi High Court and in the Punjab and Haryana High Court. So I salute and thank each one of them. I can't thank them enough. I have a personal connect with many of them. In fact, it is very hard today to keep our emotions in check. So sometimes I don't talk to them too long, but I can tell each of them that they're very close to my heart. Our association will be forever. And my doors are open to all of you to always reach out. And I'll be reaching out to all of you definitely hereafter in life even more. They've been a great source of strength. The judges who are here present with me on the dais, the judges who've retired and gone after I've come to this High Court, all of them have contributed to the development of the institution. This institution is dynamic. It is an ever-growing institution. It cannot be the work of one or two judges. It has to be the work of several judges. And you as Orissa High Court Bar are indeed very fortunate to have judges like my colleagues here sitting with me on the dais, who have the concern of the judiciary highest in their hearts, the welfare of the lawyers highest in their hearts, and are working day and night for that. I've learned a lot from my colleagues. I've been inspired by their hard work, of their total dedication, commitment. And that is what has given me the strength to try out new measures in the High Court of Orissa. I must here acknowledge some of my former colleagues who've been a great source of inspiration. One of them, not a former colleague, and was a great source of inspiration, is sitting right here in front of me, Chief Justice Akhil Qureshi, former Chief Justice of Rajasthan, and many judges in other high courts whom it will be a long list if I start listing out all of them. But I must here acknowledge Justice A.P. Shah, Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, who was also Chief Justice of the Madras High Court before he came to Delhi. One learned a lot from a judge like him, how to control a court, how to administer a court, how to keep judicial work and administrative work running simultaneously. I must also acknowledge Justice Vineet Saran, former judge of the Supreme Court of India, who was a Chief Justice of this High Court. He was a pillar of strength and support when I took over as Chief Justice of this court. And we could roll out and implement some of the ideas that he had for this High Court. So if you see infrastructure development here, much of the initial ideas were planted by him here, and we were just executing those plans. So like I said, many people contribute to the growth of the institution. It's a long list that I have in my 17 years of judgeship, but all the named and unnamed judges, I wish to thank each one of them for shaping my judicial career. When you have a list of thank yous, there's always a danger of some important names being left out. My family and friends, I can't leave them out. They are the ones who keep me happy. And they are here present. They are watching online. Wherever they are, a big thank you to all of you for making me who I am today and for giving me all the support in these last 17 years of judgeship. And earlier to that, nearly 20 years of being a lawyer. I'm very happy that Orissa is a pioneer now in several measures. Of course, both Justice Talapatra and the Advocate General have mentioned the digitization measures. In training of the lawyers in these measures, including the training of the Orissa High Court lawyers, the District Court lawyers, we introduced a new element called the hands-on training, which makes it different from the training given in other places. For this, all of us need to thank the judicial officer master trainers, who were the ones actually training the lawyers, the law clerks, the staff of the courts, as well as other judicial officers, training them in the use of paperless courts, training them in use of various gadgets and devices and software programs. So big thank you to those master trainers for making this happen. When I walked into the district courts in the initial phase, when I've literally gone to every one of the districts in Orissa, I used to go straight to the record room because from my experience in Delhi High Court and Punjab Haryana High Court, I knew the record room, which was always the most neglected place in a court complex. I walked into the courtroom, record rooms of the district courts, the malkhanas of the district court. I can say with some sense of satisfaction now that Orissa is perhaps the best in all over the country, where the record rooms and malkhanas of the district courts are in the best shape and best organized. The record room digitization center of the Orissa High Court itself has come in for a lot of appreciation from every quarter. The staff working there works tirelessly. They works with total dedication. Today, when I went around acknowledging and thanking each one of them in the forenoon, I could see that their commitment is complete. The dedication is total. And I think as lawyers of the High Court, those who are aware it's good enough, but those who are not yet visited that record room digitization center, please make it a point to do that, because that is helping you function with the ease with which you're experiencing in the High Court today. Likewise, the initiatives you've taken about the Judicial History Project. I still repeat that if only we are able to replicate this experiment of a project on judicial history that Orissa has at an all India level, it will really transform the way we look at our past through the records of the judiciary. I'm talking of the presidency high courts, Calcutta, Madras and Bombay, even larger courts like Allahabad, even a court like Delhi. The old records will have invaluable information for all of us to look into, to share the rich heritage and the traditions of not only the judiciary, but the stories of people through the ages and what issues they faced and how that was dealt with by the courts. Orissa is also perhaps the first to have a judicial infrastructure management agency, which deals exclusively with the infrastructure issues of the judiciary. All this has been possible because, again, of cooperation with the state government. The Advocate General has mentioned that, but also the cooperation of all the judicial officers, of my own colleagues who put their heads together to come up with plans, approve estimates, get the projects rolling. These are the changes these are the transformation that one is seeing around in the state of Odisha. I'll also mention the bringing out of the annual reports of the High Court of Orissa, the holding of district judges conferences. So it was discontinued for a while. We resumed it in 2021 and continued it in 2022. Our judicial officers are able to give wonderful ideas for us to implement. For instance, rationalization of case load distribution, which I think can be taken at the High Court level. If on an all India level, we're able to rationalize the distribution of cases among high courts. There are some High Court judges who have very little work and who have a capacity to do a lot of work. There are other high courts where the judges are bogged down by huge arrears and pendency. So that is affecting the relative performance of high court judges. So we must have a system of rationalization of case distribution even among high court judges. I can go on and on. I know this is a finite time. Very often I'm asked, where did I get my ideas from? Who inspires them? Ideas come from all of you. Ideas come from the staff. Ideas come from my colleagues. Ideas come from my former colleagues. I've watched many of them work diligently. I try and note what each one did at a particular situation. I try and draw an inspiration from that. It's actually an assembling of good practices that one watches, one sees in others and tries to implement it in a small way. If it works, nothing like that. If it doesn't, it's a learning from that and you try out something else. For instance, we have a farewell for employees of the High Court now here every 2 months. All my colleagues participate. This is an idea that I borrowed from the Delhi High Court. Today, I was talking that from the Agartala High Court, we developed an idea of how the registry should be reorganized by replacing steel racks with wooden cupboards and so on and so forth. But ideas can come in from anywhere. We must be open to those ideas. We must be open to the change. We must not resist the change. This whole idea of decentralizing the working of the registry, of judicial academies, for instance. From Tamil Nadu, I picked up the idea that you can have regional academies. Today, we have 5 regional academies of the State Judicial Academy. We're looking at training lawyers in those regional academies. Lawyers have welcomed it all over Orissa. Lawyers want to participate in developing the judiciary. The Lawyer of the Year award for the district lawyers in the age group of 30 to 40. All these are measures aimed at lawyers' welfare. When I look at lawyers, I don't see high court lawyers, I don't see district court lawyers, I see lawyers as a bar, as an entire united bar, interested in the progress of the Orissa judiciary. So Orissa is a huge learning for all of us. What it tells us is what is possible. These changes have been done by all of you. These changes have been imbibed by all of you. These changes have been adapted by all of you. You have to tell yourself, listen, this is our High Court. These changes have been made possible by us. Let us feel a pride, a sense of pride in this. Let us carry it forward. That is the spirit with which all of us should move. And it is possible for us to do. Justice Ramana, Justice Lalit, Justice Chandrachud, they've all come spoken in public forums with all of us, with all of you. So you know that Orissa now has a pride of place in the Indian judiciary. Orissa is now a leader in many of these measures. And as an Orissa bar, you should really feel proud. You'll feel sense of ownership and say, this is who we are, this is what we are capable of, and this is what we'll do hereafter. And we will not allow this to slip. So I'm very happy that I got all your cooperation. I'm leaving Orissa with a sense of satisfaction, with a sense of contentment, and I'm much looking forward to the next phase. This retirement is not a moment of sadness at all. It's a moment of joy. Justice Talapatra said right. It's a moment of celebration. It's a moment of camaraderie, a reaffirmation of friendships, of love, of trust, and of hope and faith. Thank you to each one of you, everyone listening out there. I'm happy to look forward to participating. I mean, back in the affairs of the bar, hopefully, and and I'm looking forward to the next innings of my life. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.